it shows the level of competition Enyimba Cecilia. Theophilus Felokai was a canopy as well. When he was leaving to Enyimba, it was what sort of competition is this? Because Femi Thomas was also there and a fantastic goalkeeper in his own right. So you see what it means when you have backups, when you can turn back to another option, very, very important.
Especially when you have them and they're really good. Not just, sometimes you have options, but the options are not options because they can't really fit into what you want at that particular time. But for first, I don't know how. I think Enyimba actually owe him a whole lot for that because for him, forget it.
He just did his part. The players did their part in Port Harcourt and then they went to Tunisia. He had to do his part. Let's go back to Tunisia. Tunde Koiko is a sports journalist. He followed the team to Sousse to cover that game between Nigeria as Enyimba Football Club of Aba and Tunisia's Etoile. Good morning, Tunde Koiko, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Austin. Good morning, Nigeria. All I can say is that it's absolutely great to be alive.
Oh my goodness. We will come to that. But let's talk about that game. Today, I saw it online and at some point I couldn't watch again. How difficult was it for you to watch that game till the end?
Okay, well, first and foremost, we'll come back to all the things that you didn't see. We'll talk about that. But just so you know, the entire Nigerian delegation, including myself, including all the non-playing staff, all of us sat on the substitutes bench. It was the safest place in the entire stadium. We could not afford to sit anywhere else because of the sheer amount of violence that was being unleashed on the Nigerians. But sitting on the substitutes bench gives you a bird-eye view, a front row seat of exactly what it takes or what goes on in the minds of the technical crew, what goes on in the minds of the players, and how it feels to be pitch side when your backs are against the wall. Enyimba played with their backs against the wall for the entire 90 minutes. It was almost, I think it was 14 degrees Celsius. It was bitterly cold. The crowd were completely behind Etoile Sahel, intimidating Enyimba players at every move. And it was a spectacle. It was unbelievable. It was very difficult to watch. When it went to penalties, there were prayers in every kind of tongue that you could find. I'm thinking someone was praying in Swahili, but there were plenty of prayers in Igbo and whatever, any language I could think of, Nigerian language. And many thanks to Theophilus Felokai, who put on 3 fantastic saves, and also to Peter Ekachi, who also put away the winning penalty, and all the other players who were man enough to step up to take the penalties.
Okay, now, when Ufomudo missed his penalty, what was going through your mind? I asked Austin that question. He said he stopped watching.
Oh my God! I don't know what to say. When Ufom missed his penalty, I just knew it was going to be a long night. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but to be honest, I had a faint confidence that look, it was just the first penalty. Anything and everything could happen. And that was exactly how it panned out. Enyimba missed their first 2 penalties. They scored theirs. The noise in the stadium was raucous, as in it was raised by not as much as maybe 50 decibels. You couldn't hear a single thing. Then they started missing their penalties. Then Felokai started pulling up the stage. Then Ayojo scored the penalty that tied everything 3-3. Then when it went to sudden death, and Chinedu Udoji stepped up to take the penalty that would win it, everybody was confident that no, if anyone was going to miss it, not Udoji, because he had played like a Trojan throughout the entire game, putting himself about, getting in the tackles. Enyimba must have had close to 50 or 60 interceptions and tackles in that game, just to show how much under pressure they were. And when Peter Ekachi put in the winning penalty, you could hear a pin drop in a stadium of 40,000 people. It was that silent. They couldn't believe it. It was they had just Enyimba just ruined what they had set out to be a magnificent Tunisian night.
So they tell me, what sort of unpleasant treatment did the Nigerian delegation get in Tunisia?
I'm laughing because I know you're speaking ironically. Where do I start from? From the very moment you got into Sousse, the fans of Etoile Sahel had blocked the stadium for almost 5 kilometers to the stadium, so we couldn't take that route. We had to take a convoluted route into the stadium. When we got to the stadium, the security officials would not allow Enyimba's bus to get into the stadium. They were delayed outside for 30 minutes. When they did get into the stadium, they were delayed for another 1 hour. The officials of Etoile would not, absolutely refuse to let Enyimba players get off the pitch and get off the bus and go into the dressing rooms. Oh, and when we got to the dressing rooms, it was another unbelievable surprise. They had sprayed industrial chemicals, I'm thinking probably DDT or pesticides or something, in the entire dressing rooms. It was choking, it was stifling, tears were streaming out of the eyes of the players, they couldn't breathe. It was a no-go. I tell you that for entire night, for throughout the match, none of the players could enter the dressing rooms. They changed and did all their pre-match talk right there on the floor, sitting there in front of the dressing room. When it was time to go out to warm up, they refused to let the Nigerian team go out and warm up, which is customary. When they did, immediately we walked out onto the pitch. A rock smashed into the face of one of the members of delegation of Enyimba. Blood was everywhere. He was receiving treatment. And rocks and missiles, they were throwing bottles, they were throwing coins, they were throwing flares, they were throwing everything they could find at the players during the warm-up and during the entire game. It was bedlam. Even the referee was hit by a missile. The referee couldn't go to the match, he couldn't go to the dressing room at halftime because he was hit on the head by a rock. He had to receive treatment by the side of the pitch. It was incredible, everything that was going on. Austin, I think I like to think of myself as a brave man, but that day I was truly afraid for my life. It was incredible, everything that we endured. We were not allowed to film. We were not allowed to use our phones. We couldn't call. Sometimes the networks were cut, so you couldn't send out tweets or match reports. I had to do this at great personal risk, hiding on the bench.
Wow.
So some of the pictures that you saw were something that I had to do in great secrecy. And every time they would come to our bench and intimidate, it was crazy. It was like
I know, because we couldn't even follow on the official Enyimba Twitter handle because no form of communication. But Tunde Koiko, I'm glad that you guys are safe, and again coming back with a victory. Enyimba through to the group phase of the CAF Champions League. That's a story, and it's really sweet. Please stay safe and come back home in peace. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's it. You see, but everything, despite everything, exactly. It has ended well for him.
I mean, he's just going on and on and on, all the things that happen. I hope, you obviously you would have had a match commissioner over there, right? And they definitely give their report. Also the referee, and give it to CAF. So we'll see how CAF is going to act on this one, because this is not good at all.
We didn't hear of this when they came to Port Harcourt.
Exactly.
You know? And I don't know. Not going to North Africa is really, really tough.
We just don't want to paint that kind of picture right now, because I feel fine. You lost here. You're playing at home. So why not just encourage it? Maybe, I'm sure maybe the throwing of the stones and everything going on might even have affected
the players. Because they'll be worried that, what if we attack them?
Exactly. And what if they qualified and CAF say, hey, look, that match will have to be cancelled and all that. Go play in another neutral venue and all. What if... I think that's really not good at all.
It was even a gallant defeat. They put up a good fight.
Yes.
You know, and in the end, anybody can win
and
lose a penalty shootout. So let's just keep educating the fans. They need to understand that these things,
it's a football match. I mean, I and I were reading something about Jose Mourinho and Sir Alex Ferguson. You know, whenever they're in the dugout, you see this hostility and all that. But these are friends. Whenever they're out on the pitch, they go for a drink.
That's right. Even players, you see them fighting, and the player causes the referee to give another red card. You see them in club at night. Everybody is laughing.
They're friends. It's just a football game.
We need to keep educating the fans. I think that's what CAF should do. I like the fact that we're seeing some changes in Nigeria Professional Football League. And that's because the LMC now, they're coming out hard on any.
I love what happened to Giwa FC and all that. In fact, the other day, Sunshine Stars.
We don't want all of that.
It shouldn't be in our football at all.
You know, football, you know what people don't know? It's an international affairs thing. This game was between Enyimba and Etoile, but look at it properly. It's Tunisia versus Nigeria.
That's it.
You know, and the governments are involved. So when things like this happen, football is supposed to, foster peace and unity.
People.
Bring countries together. We don't want to come here and be talking about this, but that's what the Confederation of African Football needs to do. We need to educate the fans. We need to let them understand that football can be used as a tool for international peace and unity. Well done to Enyimba Football Club, but well done to Etoile Sahel for putting up a good fight in that game of football. But then the best team has come out successful.
Yeah, well done for losing. Okay. We're talking about referee issues now.
That's right.
But now at Euro 2016, it's going to be something different. For the first time, they want to use the goal line technology.
Wow.
What they're actually saying, the reason they're doing that is to actually free the referee who usually stay behind the post. Now, his eyes will not just be on if it's a goal, because according to the Italian former international referee, Pierluigi Collina, you know, who happens to be UEFA chief refereeing official, he says that if you know, the focus is no longer on if it's a goal or not a goal, which happens like 0.1% in some games. In some games, you don't even see that. But the focus will now be on the free kick, where you're putting attacking players in between defensive wall and also the goalkeeper. When that happens and there's a goal, somehow it might just be disallowed. So the players should get prepared. And you have a referee that will just be watching closely. In case there's any infringement, then there will be no goal. So that's going to be the focus of Euro 2016. So it's obviously going to be tough. So not just the introduction of the goal line technology right now, but it's going to be the fact that most of the assistant referees will be free to do whatever they want to do.